Hello, I'm Lawrence Budd. I'm an irrigation specialist for the Pasadena Water and Power Conservation Program. Welcome to a short video on how to convert a sprinkler zone into a drip irrigation zone. It's quick, easy, affordable, and you might even get a little dirty. Here's a typical shrub bed being watered with spray heads. There are some problems with this picture. Can you spot them? First, the area is soaked. It's way too wet. A lot of the water is leaving the bed entirely, spraying everything but the plants. These types of plants don't like having their leaves wet all the time. It causes fungus to grow on them. We're going to use this small adapter to convert a spray zone into a starting point for drip. This looks like a sprinkler head, but it's actually a pressure reducer and a filter to keep the water clean. I'm going to take one of the heads out and put this where it was. Next, I'm going to unscrew and cap off all of the other heads in this zone. I'm going to use this inline emitter tubing. It's affordable, easy to use, and it holds up well over time. Now, if you look closely, you'll see there's little holes in here. Those are the emitters, and they put out either 1/2 or 1 gallon per hour. I can run one piece of this tubing for 300 feet. That's important, and you'll see why later. I'm laying the tubing into the bed, making sure it is somewhere close to the plants. I can make a big loop around the entire bed or snake it through the bed itself. Be careful to not let the tubing kink. If you're on a slope, be sure to place the tubing on the high side of the plants. Remember, you can go 300 feet off of one head. That's a lot of coverage. As I lay down the tubing, I'll hold it in place with a sod staple. Place one about every 4 feet. The tubing uses small connectors that makes accessing any part of your landscape or garden very easy. These don't need any glue or clamps. They just stick on, and once they're on, they stay on. I can tee off the main line to make an extra loop, or I can make turns in the line with these elbows, you name it. It's also easy to end a run with a small item called a figure 8, which is essentially a double loop. If you cut your line in the wrong place, don't worry, these small couplers can fix that quickly. Once we have laid out our system and attached it to the old spray heads, we're ready to test it. The spray zone was number 2 on the controller, now it's drip zone number 2. Since drip waters much more slowly than sprinklers do, we're going to be using a very different schedule. I want to run this tubing about 1 hour per week, which will put out about 1 gallon of water every foot. I don't want to water every day, just once or twice a week. Since drip oozes out very slowly, I'm going to set a schedule of 30 minutes twice a week. I'll watch it for a week and see if the plants look too wet or too dry. Every week, people ask me, won't the plants be too dry on drip irrigation? Not at all. The biggest problem with drip is the plants becoming too wet. People tend to keep turning the system up, thinking the plants aren't getting enough water. After your drip zone is in, I strongly advise applying a 3-inch layer of wood mulch. Redwood and cedar work very well. After a week or so, the mulch will mat down nicely, providing a cover for retaining moisture in the soil. Drip irrigation is not new, and it's not experimental. I've been installing it for 2 decades with excellent results. If it didn't work, we wouldn't be asking you to do it. Once you start using drip irrigation, you'll notice all kinds of other places where it would work much better than spray heads. So please, don't be afraid to tell your friends and neighbors how well it works. And because drip irrigation is so efficient, it's not restricted in use by Pasadena Water and Power. I'm Lawrence Budd, and by using these tips, you'll have a healthier, greener landscape that saves water and money.